Ever feel like you're just swimming in self-help advice, trying to find that one clear path to feeling more confident, happier, maybe more successful?
Oh, absolutely. It's overwhelming. There's so much out there.
Right. It's this weird paradox. Loads of information, but it's still hard to know where to even begin, to really get a handle on your own mind.
Exactly. And that's really why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We're
Mhm.
looking at Dr. Vlad Beliavsky's book, The Pyramid Mind.
Okay.
It's a six-part program, but it's not just another guide. It offers this really unique, integrated way to think about confidence, happiness, success.
What really jumped out at me immediately was how he pulls together these two worlds, martial arts and psychotherapy.
Yeah, not your typical combo.
Not at all. But it feels like it offers something genuinely different, like a shortcut to understanding how our minds actually work. So our mission today, for you listening, is to pull out the key takeaways, the real actionable stuff from his approach.
Sounds good. And to really get where the pyramid mind comes from, you kind of have to understand Dr. Beliavsky's own background.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, he grew up in Ukraine, right when things were politically turbulent.
Yeah.
And that experience led him to this really big question early on. How can I make the world a better place?
Wow, that's a heavy starting point. So how did that lead him to blend, Yoshinkan Aikido with something like cognitive behavioral therapy? He mentioned finding it tough to stick to just one discipline.
Yeah, exactly. He saw both as these powerful ways to build resilience, improve yourself.
Yeah.
But he felt that just focusing on one thing, whether it was Aikido or CBT, it left gaps.
Okay.
We weren't fully prepared. His big insight was that real preparedness, whether it's physical or mental, needs a mix of skills.
That makes me think of mixed martial arts MMA. The book talks about that connection, how the UFC started back in '93.
Right.
Rory and Gracie, Art Davey, John Milius. They wanted to answer that classic question, which martial art is the best?
And MMA showed us, didn't it? There isn't one best style. You can't just be a boxer or just a wrestler.
You need it all.
You need the stand-up, the clinch, the ground game, everything. And Beliavsky argues the same logic applies to our minds. No single therapy or self-help trick covers all the bases.
That feels so much more practical. So this integrative therapy idea is at the heart of his pyramid model for self-care.
Precisely.
What are the absolute must-haves then? What bases do we need to cover for mental well-being, according to him?
So he draws this direct line to integrative psychotherapy, SEPIA, the Society for the Exploration of Psychotherapy Integration, founded back in '83.
Right.
Their whole goal was to get different therapy schools talking, even though apparently there was some initial resistance, like you mentioned, some trash talk back then.
Okay.
But Beliavsky's pyramid model says, look, for self-care to actually work, you need to address all the key parts. Your thoughts, that's cognition, your feelings, so emotions, and your actions, your behavior.
Okay, cognition, emotions, behavior, the whole package.
The whole package. It means you're not stuck with just one set of tools. You get this arsenal, as he calls it, of techniques. You can pull from CBT, mindfulness, psychodynamic ideas, whatever fits the situation.
Having the right tool for the job, basically.
That's it. Flexibility over sticking rigidly to one way of doing things.
Okay, so that's the integrated mindset. Makes sense. But then the pyramid mind dives deeper into the actual architecture of our minds, how our memories and habits are built. Why does that matter so much day to day?
Well, he starts by saying, look, your mind isn't just one big thing. It's more like a really complex filing system.
Okay.
Different types of memory work in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah.
And just knowing that difference is the first step, to picking the right tool to work on yourself.
Let's start with working memory. I know it's like our mental desktop, but he really emphasizes how crucial it is for just getting through the day.
Totally. It's where you're actively juggling information, not just holding it, but doing stuff with it.
Like trying to add, what was his example, 14 and 15 in your head?
Yeah. Or following directions with multiple steps, or even just tracking a conversation while thinking about what it means. It's your brain's command center for real-time stuff. Learning, reasoning, planning it all leans heavily on working memory.
Got it. Then there's long-term memory. That's the stuff that's stored away, right? Not always active, but you pull it up when needed, like what I had for breakfast yesterday. Maybe.
Yeah. And Beliavsky splits long-term memory into two big types, explicit and implicit. Explicit is the knowing what.
The stuff you consciously remember.
Right. Facts, events. It breaks down further into episodic, your personal experiences, like your graduation.
Or that breakfast I maybe remember.
And semantic memory, that's general knowledge.
Yeah.
Capital of peruse, Lima, grammar rules, things like that.
Okay, explicit, knowing what? What about implicit?
Implicit is the knowing how. This is the unconscious stuff. It's often really hard to explain how you do it, even though you do it easily.
Ah, okay.
And the big one here is procedural memory. Skills, habits.
Riding a bike, tying your shoes, driving.
Perfect examples. It's automatic. Once you learn it, it's incredibly hard to forget, and you don't consciously think through the steps each time.
He even mentions verbal habits, like how he just produce grammatically correct sentences without thinking about the rules.
Yeah, or carrying on a basic conversation almost on autopilot. Even filler words like or like can be procedural habits, or speaking with an accent.
Fascinating. What else is under implicit?
Emotional memory.
Yeah.
This is huge, where strong feelings get tagged to memories or associations.
Like trauma making an event unforgettable.
Exactly. Or positive links. Maybe you had a great dog as a kid, so now dog equals joy. He references Pixar's Inside Out, which is actually a great analogy for how emotions can sort of burn memories into our brain.
That's a cool way to put it. So, okay, our minds are this complex system of systems. What happens when things go wrong? The book talks about amnesia, obviously.
Right. The inability to form or recall memories, and learning about different types of amnesia, especially from patients like HM, Henry Molaison.
Oh, yeah, the famous case.
It was revolutionary. It showed us these memory systems are genuinely separate things, located in different brain areas. It's not all just one mushy memory blob.
Which helps explain more common struggles too, right? Like with executive functions.
Definitely. Our prefrontal cortex, the reason system, handles attention, working memory, self-control. And the book uses this really relatable example, Chris's typical day.
I think I know Chris. Hitting snooze multiple times.
Being late, mind racing at bedtime. We've all had those days, right? Where your executive function just feels off.
For sure. But it's not hopeless. I loved the Michael Phelps example.
Oh, fantastic example. Diagnosed with ADHD, teacher tells him he'll never amount to anything.
Rough.
But his mom steps in, creates routine, structure, gets him into swimming, and boom, most decorated Olympian ever. All without medication in his case. It shows how structure and channeling energy can work with your brain, not just against it.
It's incredible. What about when procedural memory itself gets hit, like after a stroke?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Someone might literally forget how to walk, or use a fork, or tie their shoes, things that were completely automatic.
Can they relearn?
Often, yes, through repetition rehabilitation. But it might never feel quite as effortless as it did before the injury. That automatic quality is hard to fully restore sometimes.
And then there's the alcohol blackout example he uses. Everyone kind of gets that one.
Right. You might have zero explicit memory, no episodic recall of events, maybe fuzzy semantic details.
Can't remember what happened or how you got home.
But your procedural memory, your knowing how, was often still online. Your habits, like the route home, kicked in. You were on autopilot.
So the different systems really can function independently.
That's the huge takeaway. We have multiple relatively independent memory systems. It's like built-in redundancy. If one system is down, others can often pick up the slack. Our brains are pretty resilient.
Okay, understanding the architecture and resilience is one thing. But how do we actually use this knowledge for, better self-care, mastering it day to day?
Well, one key area is that balance between being consciously aware and just zoning out, mind wandering.
Which isn't always bad, right? Sometimes you solve problems when your mind drifts.
True, it has benefits. Planning, creative insights can pop up. But when it's excessive,
Yeah.
that's when you miss the present moment. You feel like time's just vanishing. It can hurt your performance, your relationships, your general sense of well-being. You're just not quite there.
Yeah, I get that. And then there's the big one. Negative self-talk. That inner critic.
Yeah, so common. He suggests it often comes from these automatic, biased thoughts. Maybe it has evolutionary roots. Scanning for danger kept our ancestors alive.
But now it just makes us miserable sometimes.
Exactly, when it spirals. And critically, this is why just forcing positive thinking often backfires.
Right. If you don't actually believe the positive stuff.
Your brain just defaults back to the old negative track. So the training goal he pushes isn't positivity, it's realistic thinking.
Okay, what does that look like?
It's about balance, looking at facts, evidence, logic, challenging those automatic negative thoughts. So instead of, my friend didn't text back, she hates me.
Which is easy to jump to.
You challenge it with, okay, what else could be true? Maybe she's swamped at work. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she just forgot. It's about considering alternatives based on reality, not just fear.
That sounds way more doable, actually. Less pressure. He also talks about rumination versus self-reflection. What's the difference?
Big difference. Rumination is getting stuck in a loop. endlessly replaying negative stuff, focusing only on how bad you feel, not really learning anything. It just goes round and round.
Been there.
We all have. Self-reflection, though, is constructive. It's goal-oriented. You're looking back to learn, to understand, maybe gain some distance, and crucially, it has an endpoint.
So how do you encourage reflection over rumination?
He suggests actually scheduling review sessions, maybe daily, maybe weekly. Set a timer, keep a neutral, objective tone like you're analyzing data, not just wallowing. Focus on pinpointing root causes so you can actually improve something next time.
That structured approach makes sense. And managing emotions, he says that's a skill we can learn.
Absolutely. Not something you're just born with. It can be practiced and improved like any other skill.
What's the first step?
Practice number 1. Just label your emotions. Sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
But lots of us are stuck on good or bad.
Yeah, guilty.
He mentions the whole debate, Ekman's 6 basic emotions, that UC Berkeley study with 27. Just start with the basics: joy, anger, disgust, sadness, fear, and maybe add a few others like shame, guilt, anxiety. Just getting more specific helps you understand what's going on.
And practice number 3 was investigate.
Yeah. If a negative emotion keeps popping up, anger, anxiety, whatever, dig into why. What's triggering it? And he suggests starting with your thoughts. Often our thoughts are the spark that lights the emotional fire.
Our thoughts, our emotions, and our stories. He talks a lot about the power of narrative.
Huge emphasis on this. We are storytelling creatures, right? We explain ourselves, understand the world, connect with others through stories. Think about a first date. It's all narrative exchange.
And the kind of story matters. He mentions contamination stories.
Right. Those are narratives where things start good but end badly. And research links telling those kinds of stories about your life to lower well-being, depression, low self-esteem.
Wow. But the flip side.
Positive stories predict better outcomes. He cites this amazing study about couples, the ones who told more positive, uplifting stories about how they first met. They were significantly more likely to still be together years later.
That's incredible. It shows how the way we frame things literally shapes our reality.
It really does. Our words create our world, in a way.
So how do we work on our stories? Any practices?
2 key ones. First, try narrating your experiences from the third person.
Like he felt anxious about the presentation instead of, I feel anxious.
Exactly. It creates distance. It lets you observe your feelings and thoughts more objectively, less intensely. It's like you become the author, editing your own story, making it more constructive.
Interesting technique. And the second practice?
Write it out. Journaling. He really champions this.
Why is journaling so powerful?
It helps you organize thoughts, bring details you might miss to the surface, process difficult emotions safely, reduce stress. Even just logging simple things like 3 things that happened today helps structure your experience and track patterns over time.
Collects the data, basically.
In a way, yeah. And finally, habits, the automatic stuff.
Which is a lot of our day, apparently. Like 40%.
Yeah, that Duke University study is mind-blowing. Almost half of what we do is unconscious choice. It's habit. Procedural memory running the show.
Well, we all have bad habits, right? Hitting snooze, mindlessly scrolling Instagram.
Yep, those unhelpful loops. He uses that great Warren Buffett quote, "Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken."
Oof, true.
So the training goal here is deliberate habit formation, building new, positive habits. Because procedural memory is so sticky, a good habit, once ingrained, can effectively crowd out or replace an old bad one.
So it's about building the good stuff, not just fighting the bad.
That seems to be the core idea. Leverage how your memory works for you.
Okay, so wrapping this all together. We've gone through Dr. Beliavsky's pyramid mind. We've seen this integrated approach, understanding memory, managing thoughts and emotions, shaping our stories, building habits. It's really layered.
It is. It covers cognition, emotion, behavior, all grounded in how our different memory systems actually function. A very holistic view of self-care.
And he mentions the Brightway app as a tool that kind of embodies these principles.
Yeah, it's presented as a practical application. A journaling and self-care app designed to work on those different levels. Reason, with mindfulness, emotions, tracking moods and expressing feelings, words, crafting better narratives, and behavior, tracking habits.
Interesting. Practical tools are always good.
Definitely. But maybe the most powerful takeaway, the final thought to leave people with, comes from his own experience.
Oh.
He talks about journaling using these self-care principles while he was serving in the military in Kyiv during active combat, missile attacks happening.
Wow. Under that kind of extreme stress.
Yes, and he describes how just writing things down, logging events, labeling feelings, it helped him manage the immense emotional tension, regain a sense of time and structure when everything felt chaotic,
That's profound.
isn't it? He writes about being able, even then, to keep the sun of your awareness shining and wake up in each moment again and again.
So the final thought for you listening is really this. If these practices, this awareness, can offer clarity and calm in a situation that extreme.
Imagine the potential. Imagine what becomes possible in your own life, your everyday challenges and stresses, when you consciously choose to work with your mind in this integrated way. What could you achieve if you choose to wake up moment by moment?